So I hope many of you are founders and building your ventures or businesses. And if you have any experience in building early stage startup or any type of business, you may know that raising your first investment check is one of the hardest parts, especially if you are emerging market startup. According to the statistics, founders who are alumni of the best US schools, the best and the most expensive ones, tend to raise more capital at the early stages. So, and in general, VCs choose warm introductions and personal recommendations is #1 source of deal flow. So even though you may have talent, you may have expertise, you may have experience, sometimes who you know may be more important than who you are when you start your business. This is because when you're an early stage startup, you may have little business metrics and financial metrics to analyze. So investor would look into the team, look into the founder in order to consider the company for an investment. And that's where this personal network really helps. But there is a solution. Hi, my name is Maria. I've been working with startups and VCs for the past 7 years, helping them with business development and fundraising. And most of the companies I work with are emerging market companies. And last year, I've launched my own company called Ginga. We work with emerging market founders and first-time VCs, helping them to fundraise through tools, strategy, and smart vision. And we also have just launched a micro VC here in Armenia to support local founders. So let me share my personal experience and what I've learned in the past 7 years working with startups. Emerging markets are still half of global GDP, and 60% of global GDP growth in the past 10 years came from emerging market countries. So big markets and big problems, and these markets will always stay a big investment opportunity. So even though emerging markets founders have access to capital 30 times less than the US ones, there are some tips for you to follow in order to find your first dream investor. First, I want you to look at your business, your company, as an investment asset. So if you look into your company with investors' eyes, you may see that your business as an asset may be a good asset or a bad asset, as easy as that. And sometimes I speak to founders, they say that I should go to US to build my company because there are many investors there. I really think that this is a false assumption, and there's statistics behind my personal opinion, that actually money always go to where the talent and tech founders are. So let's say your valuation, if you're starting your business in Armenia or in other small emerging countries, may be your secret weapon, and your company asset as an investment offer may be your advantage. Let's say starting a business in Armenia may actually require less capital to start, less time to approach market fit, and less overall resources for you to build first and fast traction. So I want you to look at your business as an asset and with a company with a small, easy start, and use it as a way for you to present yourself if you speak to the investor. This is the first advice. Second, if you look at your business with investor eyes, and if you actually start thinking a little bit as an investor, I you should know that every single investor, doesn't matter, business angel, VC, local, global, they will have their own subjective factors when they consider your investment, because investing in early stage startups is highly risky and very unpredictable. So because of that, no one actually can predict which startup will become a unicorn. And every single investor will have their own personal subjective ideas in their head, what's going to work and what's not. And if you take it into consideration, you will save time and you will make all the process of fundraising campaign more effective and, I think, faster. So these are rule of three, which I personally use when I think about presenting someone or myself to a potential investor. First, investors should have general belief in what you're doing. I mean, in terms of industry, in terms of tech, in terms of market. If investor has just general belief that what you're doing in your industry worth investing, they will consider it for investment. If the investor generally, let's say you do a metaverse, an investor just generally does not believe in metaverses, you should drop it and just don't waste your time. So you need to find someone who generally, before you guys met, believed in what you're doing. I mean, generally. So once you find this person, you need to convince him or her that you and your team are the best on the market who is capable to succeed. Because if investors believe in the industry you work with, it means he or she has like 3, 5, 10 potential targets to invest within this industry. So you should prove them that you are the best. And actually, going back to the slide about the evaluation and your opportunity being an emerging market founder and company be like less expensive in terms of valuation and smaller, maybe sometimes more, sometimes faster, maybe this advantage. So maybe the fact that you're building your company in Armenia with cheaper expenses, with less resources, may make you this star founder and like be your advantage to the other countries. And the last but not the least is the FOMO. Among all investment assets, it doesn't really matter. Public markets, art business, real estate, FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out, is really important. What I mean by that, when you sell a product to the client has just initial need in possessing whatever you're selling. So the client really wants to possess whatever you are selling them. Investor never has this like internal need to possess an asset. They just have money, they need to invest and make more money out of it. So when investors choose where to put the money, they need to understand that this particular investment opportunity is a good way to invest in terms of like now and at this moment and at that place. So if you pitch your startup to investor, and investor have a small opportunity to kind of get to know you better, like learn about you within a month, within a year, within 2 years, you will never leave the room with the investment check in your pocket. So when you speak to investor, you need to prove him or her that now is the best moment to finance your venture. If you convince him or her, you're going to succeed. So once you have strategy, investment offer, and an idea how to present your venture to potential investor, you need to define your target. I know many people think that investor is like a rich old guy. Sometimes it's true, but actually business angel, corporations, government, accelerators, incubators, these are different types of investors, and you should speak to them differently. You should look into different places to find them. And if you, at the beginning, define your investment target, whether you want 5 business angels, or you want 1 strategic corporate fund, or you maybe want to go to international accelerator, once you define your investment target at the beginning, you're going to save yourself lots of time. And I know in the internet they say you need to pitch 100 investors. You don't. You need to pitch 100 random people to find investor. If you limit your target to specific target market, the way you do with the digital marketing campaigns or the way you do with your B2B sales, you will need much less. So I'm a bit limited in time, so I've created a list of materials you need for fundraising. So you can scan and go through it on your own time. I won't waste your time for this list, but it's just basic materials like pitch deck, number of slides, and things like this. And I would say last but not the least, investors invest every day. It's their job. If you're a first-time founder, you're probably going to raise your first money first time in your life. If you're second, third, fourth-time founder, okay, how many times are you going to raise capital? 5, 10, 15 times. You're still going to be less experienced than your potential investor, and you will always have less background and less knowledge in fundraising. And you should just accept it as a fact. So investors tend to have better position in negotiation always just because it's their job. The only way at the early stages, and I think maybe at any stage, when you have strong position in terms of negotiation, is when you have more than 1 investor, more than 2 potential investors, more than 10 maybe. So I really, really encourage you to work on your investor relation the way you always have more investment offers than you need money. If you have 3, 5, 10 investment offers on the table, when you speak to the investor, you will always get best deal terms. And you will always be in a better position than your investor, which is important in business. So it's easy to say, I understand, but how to do this? So I know that mostly founders tend to do their fundraising in like sprints. So I need money, I start fundraising. I drop operational, whatever I've been doing in my business, and I just go and fundraise full time, 3, 4 months. Then I raise money, and then I drop fundraising and investor relation, because now I need to spend the money. I need to go and do my business again. And this is classic. 9 out of 10 people do this. And I really encourage you not to do this. Because fundraising, in order to be sustainable and predictable, should be just a part of your day-to-day business operations. So I really encourage you to spend 2 or 3 hours per week speaking to potential new investors and updating and communicating with the ones you already know. So if you start look into investor relations like HR, PR, sales, legal, and other day-to-day routine, you will learn how to control it, and you will never have this chaotic, stressful, unpredictable fundraising again. So if you have any questions, please come find me. Here is my contact details. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your attention, and good luck with your fundraising.